Hello everyone, this is me Garima Singh. Today I will discuss theme 4 of part 1. This is basically 12th class NCRT history discussion. It's ancient history. So let's move on to the theme 4, that is thinker, belief and buildings, basically cultural development during 600 BC. In this one we will discuss about Upanishads thinker, materialist and we will discuss about Jainism teaching, then Buddhist teaching, then Bodhisattva, Sangha, Buddhist scripture. Then we will discuss the architecture associated with Vaishnavism and Saivism. Then we will study why stupas were built, then religious tradition discussion. So there is a lot thing to discuss, which I will tell you. We will discuss question answer. So you go through the crux. I'm not discussing crux. I'm just solving the question answer because that's the most important thing. So I have been through this chapter. You guys go through, then listen to my this question discussion session. So where the first question? Here it is. Were the ideas of Upanishads thinker different from those of the fatalist and materialistic? Give reason for your answer. So you can write in this one is that the idea of Upanishad thinker is not much different from those of fatalist and materialistic, because various argument have been you can put in this question that the essence of the philosophy of Jainism was already in existence in India even before the birth of Lord Mahavira and Vardhaman. Then ahimsa or non-violence is the most important principle of Jainism, but this also from the basic thought of Hindu religion. Thus, there is a lot of similarity between both the stream of religion. Then Upanishad believe that believes and teaches karma theory. It means men and women should act, not worry about getting reward. Fatalists also believed in the idea of work without thinking of the consequence. Thus, there is a lot of similarity between the two. Then both fatalist and materialist believe that human beings are made up of four elements: earth, water, sky, air, and fire. So it's being air and fire. So thus we are inclined to agree the idea of Upanishad thinker, it's not much different from that of fatalist and materialist. Second is summarize the central teaching of Jainism. We will discuss main teaching of Jainism. First is that the entire world is animated. Life exists even in rocks and stone, normally considered non-living as per the Jain teaching. Then second, as per the Jain teaching, is the principle of non-violence is practiced in extreme form in Jainism. No harm should be caused to animal, plant and insect and any other living that may include rocks and stones too. This is notable that Jains are forbidden to eat late night, least they kill insect by mistake. Then the cycle of birth and rebirth is shaped through karma. If one is to escape this cycle of karma, one must practice asceticism and penance. It is possible when one renounces the world, so one has to live in monastery to attain salvation. Fourth is Jain monks have to vows to observe the few vows they take, that not to kill anyone, not to steal anything, not tell lies, not to possess property, and not to observe and to observe celibacy, that is brahmacharya. Third is discuss the role of Begum of Bhopal in preserving the stupa at Sachi. Begum of Bhopal made a great contribution to the preservation of stupa of Sachi, like Sahe Jahan Begum and her successors Sultan Jahan Begum of Bhopal were the ruler of Bhopal who made generous grants to the preservation of stupa of Sachi. A museum was built near the stupa, and it was built mainly on the financial support of Begum Sultan Jahan. No. Then the support to preserve the stupa came from European also. French and British both took the plaster cast copies of the pillar of the stupa to be displayed in the museum at France and Britain. They also contributed financially to preserve the stupa. Then in this one you have to read this inscription and answer. So let's move into the question because I have been through this. How did Dhanvanti date her inscription? Dhanvanti dated her inscription that she placed the inscription at Madhuvanka in first month of the hot season on the 8th day in the year 33 of Maharaja named Havishika. That is here. Then why do you think she installed an image of the Bodhisattva? I think that she, the Bhikkhuni Dhanvanti, installed the image of Bodhisattva to show that Mahayana sect of Buddhism was becoming popular day by day, and Bodhisattva were considered great personality in Buddhism during the reign of Kusan ruler. Who were the relatives she mentioned? She has mentioned her own mother's sister named Buddhamita. The lady was a bhikkhuni. She had also mentioned Bhikkhuni Bala and her parents. What Buddhist text did she know? She knew that Tipitaka. From whom did she learn this text? She learned the text from Bhikkhuni Buddhimata, who was the female people of the Bala. Then why do you think women and men joined the Shanga? So the important reason they join is like first, many of them wanted to renounce the worldly pleasure that they could study Buddhist literature and philosophy by staying in the company of other monks. Then many people entered sanghas to become priest and teacher of Buddhism. Then all were considered equal, and the previous social identity was to be renounced. Then you can say the environment of sangha was democratic. The decision making within sangha was based on voting. This attracted many and they took to the life of Sangha. Next is to what extent does knowledge of Buddhist literature help in understanding the sculpture at Sachi? Buddhist literature helps us to some extent in understanding the sculpture at Sachi. It is important that a sculpture at Sachi depict the teaching of Buddha only. The teaching of Buddha are captured in the literature. It is notable that Buddha used to roam around basically among people, preaching them on his teaching. However, he did not claim supernatural power. He told us that the world is even changing. It is full of sorrows. Sorrows flows out of desire. Buddha asks the follower to take the middle path, not too much of tanas, not too much of indulgence. The literature of Buddhism is useful for the interpretation of sculpture at Sachi. People are shown in different modes and in sorrow, different stages of life that are depicted and so on. Hence, it can be stated that Buddhist literature throw valuable light on the sculpture of Saji. Next is figure 4.32 and 4.33 are two scenes from Sachi. Describe what you see in each of them, focusing on the. So you have to describe these pictures 4.32 and 4.33. So Vaishnavism and Shaivism are the two branches of uh, what I was discussing. No, I think I should firstly go through where I was. This, so basically in this one you have to identify a rural scene, which an urban scene, and you have to give the answer from just look at these picture and you have to answer it out. Then move on to the next question. Basically, discuss the development in sculpture and architect associated with the rise of Vaishnavism, Saivism. So, Vaishnavism and Saivism are the two branches of Hinduism. In case of Vaishnavism, Lord Vishnu was regarded as the chief deity. In case of Saivism, Lord Shiva was regarded as the chief deity. Both traditions were part of the Bhakti movement. Bhakti movement emphasized on the love and devotion of devotee to the God. The tradition of Vaishnavism and Shaivism also impacted the tradition of architecture and sculpture. The temple developed the house deities. The initial temple was small and simple. It was a small room called Garbhagriha. Later it expanded. A tall structure was built on the Garbhagriha. It was called Shikra. The wall of the temple were decorated with suitors. Soon temples were built that had huge entrance and big halls for the comfort of visitor. Many of these temples were carved out of rock. These artificial caves were turned into temples. The tradition of article cave is old, who had renounced the world. The most important were the Aji because that developed as a sect during the regime of Ashoka. Later, a good example of rock cut temple is the Kailashnath temple of 8th century. It was carved out of single piece rock. There is a copper plate inscription at Temple of Ellora wherein the sculpture exclaimed, How did I make it? Sculpture was yet another way of expression. Deities were given many shapes and form in sculptures. Shiva has been shown in the form of linga. Many deities have shown in different forms, sometimes grossly. There were also combination of man and animal form also. Discuss how and why stupa were built. So, about 200 years after the time of Buddha, King Ashoka erected a pillar at Lumbini. This was to announce the visit of Buddha to this place. Stupa were the mounds put on the bodily remain of the body of Lord Buddha or any of object that was used by him. At the place of stupa, such objects were buried. There were place of great respect under the tradition of Buddhism as they had the relics of Buddha. As per the description of Ashok Vandana, which a famous Buddhist book, Emperor Ashoka gave Buddhist relic to all major cities. Later on, such places stupas were put. The most important stupa are at Sachi, Bharhut, Sarnath. The structure of stupa was like a dome and hemisphere. On the top of it, there would be a balcony called harmic. This balcony represented the abode of God. The harmic was covered with umbrella. They used to railing around the balcony. The construction of stupa was made possible by the contribution of many. On the forefront were the monarch. The Satvahana king offered huge amount of construction of these stupas. Apart from monarch, merchant, artisan, common man, and women also contributed. That's for today. Thank you. I'm done with the question. Next, I'll start with the next thing.